Yes? No? No? Live? All right. Hello, hello, hello. What was the title? 3 good ways to attract. No, we didn't say 3 good ways. How to attract at least three
Easy
clients
ways.
in the next 7 days. Here's what we're going to talk about. Adam Urbanski, also known as the Millionaire Marketing Mentor. I'm super fired up because we're in the Grand Hotel in San Diego at a pretty cool mastermind event, and I've got some really cool people with, I want to introduce you to. And I'm going to share with you some takeaways and some good lessons that you can use immediately to drive some business and cash into your bank account. So I've got with me, let's start with the ladies. Luisa, I don't remember your last name. You got to tell us the last name.
Joe. Louisa Joe.
Luisa Joe, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Didn't know your last name.
Yeah.
Awesome. I've met Luisa through my good friend and client, Ron. We're going to talk about Ron in a moment. He does this cool thing in Colombia, takes people into the jungle and drowns them, and then they pay him money to rescue them. No, it's not quite, but it sounds good. So that's why I met Luisa. Really quick about you, you'll tell them more about you in a moment. When she first started her business, she brought $1.1 million in 11 months. So I think she knows a little something about bringing in cash fast into the business. It's a good accomplishment.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. Ron Reich. If you don't know Ron Reich, you pretty much lived under a rock, I think. Just ask your banker about it. And so he knows a little bit about making money fast too.
A little bit.
Would that be accurate?
A little bit, yeah.
All right.
For sure.
So, we'll start with you.
All right.
What's a good takeaway from this whole experience today and 3 clients in 7 days?
All right. So one thing we really loved was we had a speaker come in who has raised 1.2 million via a Kickstarter fund for a planner. Like literally the most funded planner in the history of funding. And he really shared how he raised that, which was he built a community first and gave a lot of incredible where people feel like you care about them and are here for them versus trying to sell them a planner or a package.
Dang it. That was my idea.
Oh, damn.
I gotta go check my notes, like what do I want to share? This was good. So before we go to Ron, like what's one of the biggest lessons you've learned or like mental barriers you had to break through in your own business to grow?
Oh my gosh. Okay, this was actually a big aha I've been thinking through. Stop looking for an easy button. Yeah, so I have this obsession with thinking about how can I create the perfect business that's so systematized so that I just have the ideal, lifestyle entrepreneur schedule, whatever that is. And so over the past 5 years, I've been torturing myself, and Ron knows this. I always come, whenever we're talking about something, okay, what do you think about this new amazing system or funnel and, me working less and outsourcing so it's perfect and easy. There is no such thing. I've lost more money and time to thinking that than pretty much any other thing I've done.
Love it.
Yeah.
So I've got a saying that take the ultimate shortcut, do the work.
Huh. I love that.
That's my RRI saying. Take the ultimate shortcut, do the work.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome tip. So perfect. Ron, what do you got for us?
Yeah, so
He's
my...
like, watch me.
Yeah,
I'm
take
getting ready for
notes,
this.
guys.
All right.
So my biggest takeaway as it pertains to the question that you were asking about how we can generate revenue quickly actually came from one of the speakers today who built this really, really successful, involved e-commerce business that's done over $20 million over the last 3 years. It's like a legitimate 8-figure business, and it's got a lot of employees, a lot of moving parts, and he's got a lot of really cool things going on. But one of the biggest tips he gave at the beginning of our conversation, or of his speech, was the importance of slowing down. And slowing down is just so important for a variety of reasons. I can really wax poetic about this as far as like disconnecting from your computer and going on long walks and how that's going to give you good ideas. But that's not the topic of this conversation. We were talking about how to generate cash. Already have clients at all, is just slowing down, taking a minute, and just taking an inventory on how actually did you get your first 5 clients. Like, be very granular about that. Like, what exactly was that referral source, or what exactly was that traffic source? How exactly did you get them on the phone, for example? And then just essentially then once you have that data, then you kind of need to strategically keep doing that same thing over and over again. So that's really kind of what there's kind of it's a very Zen approach of kind of slowing down and speeding up at the same time. And if you do that, if you can kind of get that thing moving, you will be on your fast path to cash. That's what I would say there.
I like that.
Thank you.
Man, those are really good tips. What am I supposed to do next with it?
Yeah.
You know, so
Try
a
to
few
top
things.
that.
I can always top things. Come on. So, by the way, I'm going to play the tape back to you, like simplify, Mister, simplify. So you know me. I always take notes. I've got my one page, and I'm going to do a whole Facebook Live on this. But I'm going to take a couple of things and bring it all together. So you were kind of talking about actually being of value to people, right? And yeah, just being of value. You essentially talk about simplifying and slowing down. So I like all of this. So I think if it were me, in my business, and I had to focus on, I had 7 days to get at least 3 clients, maybe more. I would do exactly this. I would simplify, go like, what's the one thing that I can do that I'm good at, and how can I deliver more value to people doing that? Then I would essentially focus, rather than how do I get more clients, I would focus on how do I get more value. And out of the 7 days, I would spend 5 just dishing out massive value, wherever you can be. Your Facebook profile is a good place to start. If you've got a group, bring people into the group. If it's just talking to 5 people every day, and just talk to people. And what you want to do is, again, from our presentations today, the things that I really paid attention to, because maybe I like this a lot, is research and creating value and creating some sort of community. So again, my talking to people and giving value would be at the same time researching, like, hey, where are they stuck? What's going on? And at the end of the 5 days, I would shift gears a little bit and then reach out to some of those people that you've given value to and go like, hey, you know what, I've been thinking about it. And I can help you beyond what I just given you. Are you open? Are you interested? And if I could help you achieve that goal, would you give me some money for it? Right, so that's kind of what I would do. Did I make any sense?
That's good. You kind of did the plus one. What we came up with. So
Mr. Strategic Thinking, that's my thing. All right, so Ron, same question that I asked Lisa earlier. Like, what was your biggest thing? Because you had stratospheric growth, like last 2 years.
Oh, thank you.
Like, you are DA player among
Well,
game
yeah,
players
I mean,
now. So
I went through your program twice, and that was a huge part of it. So
Can you repeat that a
thank
little
you.
bit?
Yes, 100%. Definitely.
No, but what's the biggest mental breakthrough or lesson that you had to learn?
All right, this is it's the easiest thing, and yet the simplest thing. It is kind of like you just have to be willing to essentially put yourself out there and just be willing to decide that you're an expert and decide that you're awesome, and you just gotta own it. You know,
Yeah.
that's like the whole thing. Is that like really? It's totally true that we're. That's basically it. Own your awesomeness and just give yourself permission to be the badass that you are, and then you'll be fine. Because most of us are waiting for things and different triggers to give us that permission that we can put ourselves out there. And honestly, like in a lot of ways, like a lot of, or not a lot, but definitely a part of what you helped me with was like you were that actual physical person who kind of gave me that permission to kind of do things that I didn't have the courage to do myself.
Yeah.
And of course, that's why it's great to have mentors and and hire coaches and things like that. At the same time, it still is ultimately upon us to give ourselves that permission. And it's really just kind of like just the easier, the faster you can do that. I mean, that kind of really is the fastest path to cast. The people who I know, like Louisa herself would be a great example of this, is like the people who I know who really go from like 0 to 6 to multiple 6 to 7 figures the fastest. They just don't have those blocks. They're just like, I'm awesome, and they just do it, like Louisa, right? So I think that's definitely it.
I love that. So it's funny enough because last Tuesday when we do the action coaching calls, right? Part of what I talked about is actually just that, like moving. How do you part of the secret is to gain confidence to do what you need to do, right? And confidence is actually like when you own shit, essentially kind of like my shit doesn't stink, right? You're confident in your own abilities. But in order to develop confidence, you've got to have the courage to do things that need to be done, even when you know that it's like, I don't quite have my shit together, I'm gonna do it anyway. And then how do you get confidence? Well, you either get permission from someone else, or you borrow it, right? From community, from a coach, from a mentor. You gotta go and find. So I love that tip a lot. But another one that I would share with you is turn off watching other people's stuff. Because we can't help but compare, and you're usually watching someone's marketing or promotional reel or whatever it's called, right? And everything looks good in a preview, but then you kind of dig in and you go like, they've got their own problems. And another thing is sometimes you watch people and you go like, they're doing all of those things and they're so good, and you start doubting your own abilities, when in fact, there are so many people that do what we do that we don't even know exists. Like I do this all the time. I run across someone and I go like,
Right.
they're like exactly doing what I do. I've never heard of them. They're like in a totally alternate universe.
Yeah.
And none of my clients have heard of them. Like, how is it possible? But yet if I watch them, I'll be going like, it's impossible for me to do my work because they're doing it. Right? So you got to turn off watching other people.
Can I give just one reframe, just that
Yeah.
kind of goes on with what you're saying? I totally agree with like not paying attention to people, and there's a lot of benefit to that. But another thing I like to think about is don't be envious, be inspired by other people. Like if someone's doing something, that just proves that you can do it. And because I have that same comparisonitis that a lot of people had, but whenever I think about it, like, oh, it's awesome, cool, I can do that too,
So that's another framework that I use. It's like, don't use competition for limitation, use it for inspiration. Like if other people can do it, you go like, hell yeah, I can do that, all right? We need one more from you, because you've been like so quiet. Come on, give us some more juice at the end.
Okay, so this is,
Just like watching.
yeah, I know, I have to think of something really, really epic now. So I think the most important thing, actually, this is a really, add-on elaboration. So yesterday, I, flew across the country for like 6 hours, and I had told myself I was gonna do a daily live stream during the weekday. And I got on and I did like the worst live stream I've done in years, honestly. And I think it's important to hear that, not because I tried to do a bad live stream, but it's when you make the mental commitment that no matter what, you're going to do it even if you don't feel like it, you don't think it's gonna be amazing. That's how you really make progress. It's not like waiting until you feel like, I'm awesome, I'm perfect. No matter how bad you feel right now, deciding and then doing it every single day, that is the most important thing.
That is awesome.
Sweet.
We'll end with this. Ron Reich, Louisa,
Joe.
Adam Urbanski. We got a faithful camera person. There we go. Thank you, Bo. All right, ladies and gents, love you a lot. Until next time, here's to your success. Cheers.